Let's get to the Elite Four.
Huh? Alright. Number 4. Boba Fett versus Predator.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
You guys were
remember-
expecting me to make a Bamford joke, weren't you?
oh, actually, because a lot of people actually said this is the worst episode of the season.
That's not what I've actually been hearing.
I've
but
seen
this was-
other people's tier lists that a lot of people don't actually like this episode a lot, and I have to disagree. This is the most underrated 3D fight of the season.
Oh, this
I
isn't
haven't-
actually the fight. Because I mentioned there is a fight that I'm surprised is in the lower tiers and even like E tier, but surprisingly this isn't the episode. But I have a feeling it's next.
I have Boba versus Predator at number 7.
I
I
have it
have
at
it at number 4. Oh, sorry.
I have it at number 5.
Okay.
Where did you have it? You kind of...
I think when me and mate were talking at the same time, I said I had it at number 4.
Okay. Boba Fett versus Predator. Remember when Boba got revealed and you guys wanted Star-Lord?
Yeah, well, I still hold to that. I still would like that episode, but I was still hyped that Boba Fett was returning because, speaking of lads' curses, when we were talking about season 1 returns, one of them for me was Boba Fett. And Lord behold, when it was revealed next season, oh, Boba Fett's coming back.
Yeah. I do think Predator was the better choice, just because of the arsenal these two have.
I still think Star-Lord just would have been fun.
I think
That
for
and
me,
I still just wanted to see Predator fight the Arbiter.
yeah, I think in this case, Boba Fett versus Star-Lord would have been my number 1 choice, but if they decided, we're not going to do that, then yeah, Predator would be my alternative. At the same time, Arbiter versus Predator is like a number 1 pick.
Oh. I think obviously Bill will go more in depth on how much better of an analysis Boba Fett had compared to like when he first
Gee,
got
I wonder
introduced.
why.
I like Star Wars.
Predator's stuff was handled very well when they had to composite everything. They did it in a really good way. And I love the models for both of these two. I thought that was great. Also, of course, the whole meatbags joke that Dummy did. The fact that Dummy made Bill laugh already makes this a top 10 episode.
Yeah, it only took him, God, how long's he been in this show for?
Like, his debut was Beerus vs. Galaxia.
Right, so it's taken him a few number of episodes, but he managed to get me to laugh. At the same time, I'm also kind of hoping whoever was the person killing off the Death Battle cast in the Halloween episode, I hope Dummy was officially killed. Let's be real here, that's not going to happen.
Like Wiz
Jesus
said,
Christ,
there's
really.
plenty more.
Just too many dummies.
More in
Flush
depth
when.
on this. Oh, again, Predator stuff handled very well. I love his model. I'm pretty sure that's the MKX model. If not, it's definitely from his video game.
It's either from the new Predator game, that sadly you can't even play anymore, so I think the servers are down, or it's from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I just love the way the arsenals of these two bounce off each other, with the different counters they have for everything. And of course, Cameron comes back to voice Boba Fett, and the way Boba says "you're one ugly motherfucker" was fantastic.
I can't get over that. Star Wars is known for many things: war crimes, terrorism, slavery, rape, but not swearing.
I have to admit, I also thought it would have been funny if Boba Fett said, "You're one ugly nerf herder."
No.
If anything, just because, well, that's a Star Wars line, and it sounds like motherfucker. I thought that would have just been funny.
I just love the way that it goes after Boba Fett says that line and Predator just yells like, "What the fuck you say?"
This is a family-friendly fucking channel.
The only thing that I think was the weak part about this, honestly, was I wish we got to see Boba try to run away from the suicide explosion.
True, it does feel like a bit of a rush death.
Yeah,
That's like
plus, when the lightsaber hits Predator, it almost looks like he cut his arm off that had the detonator, but then, no, it's still attached. But, I don't know, that shot is just a little weird to me. I feel like that... I don't know.
Yeah. I also like the fact that how the voice mimicry was used to mock Boba Fett a couple times. It's just like, you're mine. There goes your arm. Go ahead, Maine.
Sorry, this comes from RTX when I was waiting for the Death Battle autograph signing. Yeah. That was an accidental reference to Boba Fett vs. Samus Aran. The first one.
I remember talking about that.
Yeah, because that was the last thing Samus said before she blew Boba's head off. And yeah, Liam just wrote that line into the script without realizing that until the comments pointed it out.
Honestly, accidental references are better than, like, intentional.
Yeah, he pulled a Toriyama.
God damn it, Liam. Should we call him or can we call him Liama at this point?
Hey, sure made a pun.
Well, either that or Toriyam.
Liam. And I know a lot of people say, hand-to-hand combat's not the Blender team's strongest suit. In this fight, it looks really well done.
I mean, we didn't really have hand-to-hand combat, really.
Like close quarters combat, essentially.
Right, okay.
The combi stick with the staff worked really well. The lightsaber and scythe duel was pretty dope. And even the their own version of the wrist blades. Very well done.
Yeah, I like that they included that.
Yeah, and again, editor gave Boba a run for his money. It's like a lot of people.
I don't think he's going to be able to cash in on the Predator's bounty.
Oh.
So he kind of lost an arm and he's not even going to get paid.
Yeah. I shall pass this on to, I think, actually, Bill, you had this lower than Made, right? Or did Made have it higher?
No, he had it higher.
Okay, so
he
Made.
had it at number 6, I had it at 5.
No, you had it at 4, I had it at 5.
Yeah, sorry, mixed up there.
Hey, go ahead, Boba Predator.
Yeah, I enjoyed this episode despite just wanting Predator to fight the Arbiter. And, well, that feels a little less likely now. But not impossible.
I've had returning combatants before, and heck, I wouldn't even be against if they did bring back the Predator for next season just for the Arbiter. I would much prefer that over General Grievous, which seems as though many people are even starting to
No, Arbiter
I
versus
don't-
Grievous. You put Grievous against Dr. Nefarious from Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
That's the matchup.
Well, given Death Battle's track record, it's going to be a 50-50 chance of that with Arbiter's matchup now.
Well, hopefully they put Grievous against Nefarious.
Yeah, I kind of want that as well.
But, yeah, my preferred matchup one aside. Yeah, overall I just enjoyed this episode a lot. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. This feels really awkward, especially considering I watched Riz's reaction to it not long ago.
I think it's also like you're trying to think of points that we haven't said yet.
That too. And there's a point in the analysis I want to save for Billy.
Which one? Because there's two.
You know the one.
I know, but Bill also liked the other one too.
You know, I'll just talk about the fight. One thing in particular, it's just this like art style choice I just really like now. It's just like the moment Boba's arm gets cut off, just like how they do a different like palette swap like, for that brief moment after it's been cut off, like, yeah, it's probably because, like, slight Ruby nod, like, whatever. It makes me smile, okay? But, like, even after that, when Boba pulls the lightsaber out and cauterizes the wound with it, it's like, badass!
Love that moment. Like, really goes to show that even if Boba Fett's in like a dire state, he's still thinking about the mission and he wants to keep fighting. Django would be proud. He would be proud of him.
Yeah, and this is like another thing I think was conveyed a little weirdly. It's just like Boba's on the floor, Predator goes to strike, then is confused. I don't know, I feel like if you start that scene off with him being confused, it might work a little bit better. It's like, because I get that's criticism that people have, because this is meant to be a century old, like, yeah, Predator's like been fighting for centuries and never lost. And that moment can, like, looks a bit derpy. It's just like, I have you on the ground, now to stab you! Wait, where did you go?
Yeah, then
like,
Boba Fett's just like amateur, which is like, technically he's not an amateur. He's been doing this for centuries.
He caught him an amateur when Better went to try to stab him behind the tree.
I thought that's what Mate was referring to.
No, I was referring to that bit in the fire.
Ah, okay, that was a pretty fire scene.
Yeah, overall, I still just thought this was a solid episode. And, I remember hearing the point, it's just like, oh, well, Predator has an Emp, so that will screw Boba over. And it's just like, yeah, not so much. Turns out Beskar is even more bullshit.
Yeah, Beskar has been amplified over the years. It was originally just basic armor, like pretty much like titanium. You could still, like, if you were to watch Star Wars Rebels, Mandalorians wear Beskar, but they could somehow get shot through it. Then suddenly, after the Mandalorian series, suddenly Beskar is one of the strongest materials in the universe.
And can stop lightsaber blows.
Yeah, which in Ahsoka versus Mandalorian proved. So it's like, obviously, why did you give this to your stormtroopers? In fact, you apparently have a bank full of this stuff. You pay mercenaries.
I don't even
know.
I'm trying to remember if something even came up of this. Like, there was that creature that got that they found on some planet in Clone Wars, which then went on a rampage in Coruscant. Like, its scales couldn't get cut by a lightsaber, and Palpatine wanted that beast cloned.
I heard that apparently that creature was used for like the Phase 2 Clone Trooper armors, but given how they can easily be shot through and how Jedi have killed a few of them in Episode 3, that kind of
it's like
that.
I don't know.
I think it was just one of those stories that just never went anywhere.
Probably.
Inconsistency.
Star Wars has a lot of it.
Dude, fiction in general has a lot of it.
Alright, but before we get on to... before we trail off the trail... What a smart thing I just said. Shall you finish your point?
Honestly, I'm more or less done. Like, I'm just waiting for you to bring this home.
Right, I don't want to talk too much on it. Yes, it is at number 4. Originally, before the second half, this was on my at least second place for this season. However, Aaron and SpongeBob kind of stole that for me. However, this episode was pretty good. It had loads of great moments in it. The analysis was pretty humorous. The fact they even referenced the Bantha meme was...
There it is.
I'm surprised that they referenced that, because they don't really go for a lot of like those really cringe memes. In this case, Boomstick was just like sitting pretty on Jabba's throne, or like a Bantha. I mean, honestly, that joke doesn't actually work. So it doesn't make any sense. But the fact they referenced it is just right. I wish I could have seen Mate's reaction, because in his reaction, you watched this after.
Yeah,
RTX.
I watched it for the first time at RTX while waiting for a panel.
Yeah.
The thing is that as soon as that went off, everyone was like, and Bill is going to love this episode.
Yeah, every reaction I watched. It was great. Even the people that might not be familiar with Lads, they were just like, what the hell? Why do they reference this? The fight itself was pretty good. I really liked it. I even liked the brutal style web for. And now, about royalties, Death Battle, I don't want to say you stole my idea, but I had a similar animation, Boba Fett vs Predator. It starts off with Boba landing on a planet, there's some bodies hanging from trees, and then the Predator comes out of camo and tries to get him from behind. I don't want to say could be a coincidence, but
I think
I don't know. I just want some royalties. That's all I'm saying. Again, the future show I plan, I want royalties for this shit.
I think that's also just the obvious setup. Like, hell, if they did Arbiter vs Predator, it just would have been dead elites.
And thank you for ruining my joke, mate. But the point is, you killed the joke just like how Boba killed the Predator, which, I actually showed this to my boss in my old workplace, and he was straight up thinking, yeah, Predator's got to stomp this, and I told him, well, no, because they're using also comic books and novels. He was just like, but they should just focus on the movie. It's like, well what do they have to go off the movies?
Yeah, if they just focus on movies alone, they'd have to do it for both. In which case, then you gotta decide which Predator. In which case, no shit, Boba wins.
Yeah, it's even more of a stomp. But the thing that really surprised me, one, they actually gave Boba the gaffy stick, which, if you don't know, that's the staff that the Tusken Raiders use. I did actually kind of like that they started into Arsenal, and a little bit where they're clashing with their staffs was a nice touch. I love the fact he even bonked a Predator on the head. He got stabbed in the shoulder, and he's like screaming, and immediately cuts off and just bonks him. Go to horny jail. It's like, that was funny. It really reminded me of that scene when he bonked that stormtrooper on the head before just breaking in his skull. Yeah, that's pretty much it, Sean. That's how I feel, man. I'm surprised that didn't become a meme on that Death Battle shitpost Twitter. And of course, one thing that did get memed on the Death Battle shitpost thing, Predator cutting off Boba's arm, but now every time I watch that scene now, I just think of that It's Rewind Time theme. As for the death itself, well, we haven't really talked much about it with this top 10. The deaths this season have been very hit and miss a lot. And this death is sadly one of them, because we don't see the Predator blown to pieces, we don't even see any remains of it. And they mention how, Boba wouldn't have survived the center of the explosion. Given how they animated it, it really did look like he just stood there and waited for the explosion. Like, don't get me wrong, Beskar would survive that explosion. They're going to also say, oh, Boba could have been killed by this. See, if he was in the center of it, I'm just like, why did you animate him in the center? I will admit, though, it is cool that after all that, he just walks away while limping, while also just carrying his arm, which I'm very curious if he'll be able to reattach that now that he's been carterized.
It's also the Star Wars universe, so maybe.
True. I will say they definitely made Boba Fett more badass in this than... I know this might come as an unpopular opinion. I don't think Boba Fett was given that same respect in the fights in the previous episodes. Again, those were early death battles, so...
One of which was the very first episode.
Yeah, hence why I really wanted Boba to return for another fight.
Everyone just points their comments to Billy like, Bill doesn't know what he's talking about, he's just a meatbag!
Yeah, the fact they referenced the meatbag, good old HK. Overall, I really like this episode. It nearly was in the top 3, but because of the other 2 episodes that just mean a lot to me, yeah. And yeah, it was good that Predator got an episode. I do love the Predator films. I especially love the new one that came out when this Death Battle was coming out, Prey. Which, if you have not seen it, definitely give Prey a watch. It is amazing. If you want to see the most badass throw with a bear trap, that's why you should watch Prey. I would tell May to put it in his video, but I'm pretty sure he would get age restricted just by showing it. Yeah, I think he'll be age restricted if you showed Homelander's death.
Maybe.
And that's all I gotta say. Let's move on to the top 3. I'm very curious to see what made the top 3 this season.
What made the podium?
Podium.
I mean, if you know process of elimination, you know what 3 episodes are left.
I mean, true, but I'm very curious which took a certain place on my list.
Starting with the bronze medal. Number 3 is Deku versus Asta.
Hooray! I made the podium with my number 1.
I'm sad. Nothing but sadness. Anyway, let's move on.
Fuck you.
No, I meant on. Let's move on talking about this episode, not move on to the second. Sorry.
I don't know you guys can't hear this, but I got an Asta Funko recently, so.
Oh, send us a picture.
There should be one in the. I'll send another one soon. Yeah. Oh, this was my number 1.
I had this at number 4.
I had this at number 9. I'm sorry, Sean.
It's top 10, Bill. It's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. He's clearly more tame than I am.
I was about to say.
So I guess I'll go first. Why I have it at least at number 9.
Go right ahead.
Right then. So, how much of Asta do I know? I know a little bit. I watched season 1 and 2 of Black Clover. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I have been, after this death battle, I have been kind of wanting to go back and watch it. There's already just so much I got to do. That's life stuff, so I won't go into details. Deku, I know about Deku. I watched My Hero Academia, fantastic show, and fantastic protagonist, so I was hyped. And if you saw my reaction, I was really surprised at the route they took. I am gutted for Z-Dog though, because I know he's just really wanted to see Deku versus Miles. I'm sure we will eventually see that fight. It's still highly requested, and it's not impossible. Plus, with My Hero, with My Hero ended. I went like full on posh there. With My Hero. Jesus, if you all wanted to hear Posh Bill, you just heard him. I should do that for the rest of this episode, just talk very posh.
Don't be a posh shithead.
Alright, well, with My Hero ending soon, I think it's possible we might see Miles versus Deku, because let's be real here, Miles' stories are not going to end anytime soon.
Nah. Plus, I mean, they kind of alluded to it in this episode just by saying that the mangaka of My Hero is like the biggest Spidey fan ever. Kind of rubbing salt in the wound, but
I'd like to look at that. I'm going to be optimistic and hope this is just them and interested in the idea, because I understand they do want to do more anime versus like East versus West fights with anime and comics. Hence why, for some reason, Luffy and Plastic Man's being pushed by the team, which I don't like. I really want to see Naruto versus Luffy. But away from that, analysis pretty funny. I still can't get over that spin Asta does and from the analysis. Insert Zoidberg sound effects and perfect. Fight itself, pretty good. It was pretty good. I don't know what accent I'm even trying to do right now. And the death itself, it was pretty brutal, but thanks to Mate and Lads Discuss Death Battle, I can never look at it without seeing Peter Griffin in that same position now. Now I want people to make that into a meme of the day for us.
actually, there is a thing I heard about that death later on. Shed some new light on it.
Well, I've said my piece. I don't want to go. I've gone on for a lot. But I'll be honest, I don't want to go on too long because I know this is Sean's one of his top 3, and I've talked a lot about my top 3 this discussion. So
top 3. This is my number 1.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, it's number 1. There you go. It was a good episode. I liked it. Maybe want to go back and watch Black Clover. And who knows? Maybe I might even do a review. Hint what I might be doing for my channel. Yeah. Overall, it was really good. I liked it. It made it into the top 10, so you know. No, that might seem upsetting for someone.
I mean, this was in my personal top 5. And, well, I still kind of hold out for Miles Deku, if anything, just for Z-Dog's sake. Like, come on, that's twice as much one has been dangled in front of him and yanked away.
Oh, mate, if it carries on, you and I will go to Miles, go to Rooster Teeth and tell them to do this episode.
I mean,
and they'll just tell us to fuck off.
Here's how they'll respond. Mate, we respect you, but here's Arbiter versus Grievous.
Oh god.
That would be when it's Bill holding me back.
I'd just be like, It's like, look, mate, you don't have to hurt them, alright? And mate's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Plus, it's not like we're going to do a bad episode for Bill. We're thinking about doing Patrick versus Star-Lord. I'll kill him! And I push mate out of the way and I just leap at them.
By the way, you talk about like going to Texas and everything. There's a good chance I'm going to RTX this year.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean I've got the time
alright,
off and I can afford it, so I've got no reason not to.
Said my piece. We need to move on. Mate, do your thing.
Yeah, I like this episode a lot. Like the music, I've been listening to it a lot. Like really freaking good. Jesus Christ, Brandon. Like, how do you do it? Yeah, the voices I like a lot, and like, okay, I kind of skipped over the analysis. The only point I really wanted to touch on for Asta was just how they brought up how, like, his rivalry isn't actually tainted by like, I'm trying to remember the exact word.
Isn't a cliche or
animosity.
Antagonism.
Oh, antagonism. There we go. Yeah, I just thought, oh, that's wholesome and actually quite a refreshing change of pace. Like genuinely wanting what's best for each other. But yeah, I really like the voices. Just pretty much what happens in the fight, and just that whole like, wait, aren't swords supposed to be sharp? And later on, wait, are you not using magic?
That reminds me, because I want to bring this up with Sean when he's discussing it.
Like it's just stuff like that that makes me like an episode more. Like that's just funny. All the Detroit smashes and us being like, I don't know what Detroit is, but I'm sick of it. And of course him being all take that Detroit at the end. It's like, honestly, I'd be the exact same way. Now, I mentioned previously how I thought the death was a little, like, lame, 'cause it's Deku going, I did it, and then it shows Asta getting up, and at that point you're just like, okay, yeah, so Asta's won. And, yeah, so, fun fact that Liam decided to say about this, like, that last shot of Deku when he's like, I did it, and you see his eyes flickering. Yeah, that was to portray either, like, loss of consciousness or just death. So, yeah, that moment where Deku's saying, I did it, that's him dying. Thinking he just won. Like, before the swords, like, do anything.
That explains why there wasn't a death screen.
Yeah. Oh, and of course, like... It feels weird to say, but I'm sorry, it's just too funny. Like, one of my biggest highlights is just at the end, and it's just like... Asta will go on to fight last year's champion, Hercule Satan! And there's Hercule just, like, in the crowd, like, just being, like mind blown by the fight and just running away. Oh, I love that so much. Oh, that was just too funny. Yeah, I like the episode overall. I still hope for Miles Deku one day. Like, will it happen? Who knows? It's still a popular enough request. So, yeah, maybe like a couple years down the line we might get it. Who knows? Anyway, it's time for Sean to talk about why this is his number one.
Yay!
The floor is yours.
Deku versus Asta. I got so excited when I saw Asta was fighting Deku. Because I've been a fan of Black Clover for a long time. And of course, you know, Now, Deku wasn't the ideal matchup I had for Asta. I thought it actually worked very well, honestly, with the theming of these two. That being said, they executed this very well. They handled My Hero and Black Clover really well without going too far in depth with spoilers because of how close they are towards their end. And again, I don't feel like the result would change that much if they waited for the series to finish for both of them.
From what I've heard, depending on even if this is what I get from the community, so people will take my word for granted. I've heard people say even if Deku got as powerful as All Might, he still wouldn't win.
Because Asta has another transformation that they didn't go into yet because we don't understand fully how it works.
Right, yeah.
Plus, given the fact that he can dodge lasers in his sleep.
Yeah, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
Well, the analysis for both of these was had me laughing a couple of times. Like, Boomstick trying to do Fajin was just... I get you used to be a speed god, man, but come on!
Oh yeah, he was.
And of course, I also love these two fighting over the Black Clover Grimoire.
I still remember just being like, Boomstick, you have all kinds of bullshit powers because it's funny. Let Wiz have something.
And they summed up Deku and Asta really well. And they definitely showed a lot of respect to these characters. And something I feel like is definitely really nice to see is that a lot of people actually, like Bill, for example, have said that they might even check out Black Clover after this. As for the fight, oh boy, this was a fun one. We had Nick come back as an announcer for, obviously, the ending Maeve mentioned already. The way they spawned in environments was really well done, and the sprites they had looked phenomenal. I especially love the sprite work that Origin did for Asta. It's like there's not a lot of material for Asta's Devil Union form, but it came out really cool looking.
Yeah, we've got to give so much credit to people like Origin and just everyone who makes these new sprites.
Yeah, these sprites were nice. And I love the voice acting they got. Michael Kovac came back, voice Asta, which was a nice choice. Jose Estrada is the guy's name, came to voice Deku, and I like Jose's performance as Deku. Apparently he's like a TikToker called Brown Bakugo, I think is his actual username, where he does fan dubs and whatnot. I could be wrong on that though.
The fact that I mistook him as Justin Briner at one point.
Yeah, that just shows how phenomenal Jose did.
Yeah. Who, by the way, I have met.
Really?
Yeah, I met him at MCM London.
Nice. Strongest Alive is probably my favorite soundtrack this season. I love just how it sounds, how triumphant it is. The lyrics work well for both these two. And I think Anthony...
It also kind of calls back to Mighty and Marvel Fall, which is a brand and commission track for Deku versus Kamala Khan.
The guest that Brandon had on, I can't pronounce his last name that well, but I know his first name was Anthony, and he even came back and did work on Dragon Dance. Yeah, Vegito versus Gogeta soundtrack.
Yeah.
Sure, now, this is something I actually wanted to ask, given the fact. Okay, so one of the criticisms I saw in the comments was Asda getting freaked out when he realizes Deku's abilities aren't magic. Is that in character? Do you think he would get that surprised and even go that high pitch if he realized his opponent's not using the very thing that he's fought against for pretty much all his life?
Yeah, because you're so used to fighting magic users. How are you going to handle someone who doesn't use magic?
Also,
the first time.
Also, if you come from a world where everyone is magic and you see Black Whip for the first time, what are you going to think it is?
Magic construct made of dark magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people need to understand that when it comes to Death Battle, it's not that these people exist in the same world and they're just clashing. This is the first time they're experiencing the opponent, and that, depending on their powers, they could be surprised of what they throw at one another. Like, for instance, when Starscream went up against Rainbow Dash, sorry, Proboscis, if you're watching, I'm just using this as a reference. First, Starscream's laughing at her. It's like, you're a pony. I can literally vaporize you. Then suddenly, things moving at the same speed as him, and even faster, and can avoid all his firepower. That's what you want. You want these crossovers to feel like an actual crossover. So them being surprised over, oh shit, his abilities counter mine, you know, you want that response.
Yeah. Also, I know people got really mad when Asta said, like, wow, this guy could give even... was the character's name Luck?
Yes.
Yeah. He could give Luck a run for his money, because, like, commenting on how fast Deku is. And I'm just like... Okay, that's just kind of... Like, and I feel like Sean can probably put it into better words, but it's...
That's actually a reference, because Deku's actor also voiced Luck in Black Clover, apparently. That's what I saw in the comments.
Yeah, but like the fact that people are saying that, the fact that people are saying that, you know, it gives Black Clover fans a bad look, and like Robuscus, like even said, you know, he hated Black Clover fans, and you know that kind of hurts. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, every fandom has their toxic side. Yes.
This is Black Clover's I'm aware.
This is Black Clover's first introduction into Death Battle. So obviously, if someone's new to Death Battle, then yeah, they might be surprised at how they handle things, like, you know, how different characters, like, they might not make characters sound too powerful until, you know, the epilogue or the explanation.
It's just like, guys, it's just not that big of a deal. It's at the end of the day, Death Battle is a show that's for entertainment purposes. You can just enjoy things and be on our merry little way in our little worlds. You don't have to get them flack just because of one line clip they used. You know, I remember people saying, oh, the waiting period for this was, you know, everyone was saying this and that, and I'm just here like, does Asta actually win? I don't know anymore. After we did our 60 seconds, I was like, hey, I think I convinced everybody that Asta wins, but like behind the scenes, I'm like, oh god, does Asta actually win, or am I bullshitting?
Nice to know I did that good a job, apparently.
I'm worried. I got worried from my boy. I'm gonna be honest, because like the back of my mind was thinking, you know, Asta faster, has more in his arsenal that Deku's not gonna see coming, but Deku's probably stronger and more like tactical of the two.
It turns out tactical, yes. Stronger, maybe not.
Has more arsenal, apparently, yes. And just the way the fight was wrapped up with that cameo from Hercule Satan as that callback from season 2. Wow, that was a nice touch.
Apparently he was last year's champion, which makes me kind of question what's the Death Battle universe's timeline.
I mean,
that's just a possible theory video.
I mean, there are also plenty of fights that do throw a wrench in that.
Yeah, it's just a theory. A Death Battle theory.
I mean, to be fair, we said Mate looks like MatPat before, so... Or
yes.
Mate is MatPat. Said a few times, with his conspiracy theories.
Callbacks.
But I think everything was handled very well. I love this episode a lot. Strongest Alive, really good soundtrack. Analysis made me laugh, and when I showed this to my buddy for the first time, who hasn't seen Death Battle in years, it's like, it's nice to see that, you know, this episode did so well. And I think, honestly, that's the best I can end it. It's just the episode was done really well, and it's my number 1. And I'm sticking by that.
You guys didn't hear that on my end, did you?
I heard something.
Just leave it at, it was something.
Alright then.
I wanted to ruin Sean's moment.
Silver Place!
We might as well just say what's silver and gold, and we just move on to each one as we're explaining.
No, let's just save it.
If you remember, mate, you did say we had a tie in our number 1 when we were talking privately.
Oh yeah, I gotta find the, because for some reason I had all the maths figured out on my phone. Rather than, iPad.
Yeah, so-
let me see, hang on.
While May figures that out, obviously we did have ties. We didn't know what they were, but obviously if you guys saw earlier in our list, Hercules and Sun and Wanda Satana actually was a tie. that we
Actually,
had.
no, the top 3 were all tied.
Wow, so all 3 of these tied for number 1.
Yep.
Oh, what was more popular, I guess, than Deku Asta?
Alright, well...
I mean, we're gonna know what's gold as well now.
Yeah, but we'll save that. Number 2! Harley versus Jinx.
And this is the part where Kier questions us.
I'm even kind of questioning. I'm not saying it's a bad episode. I had this at number 6.
This is number 5.
Kira's gonna think we're crazy.
Ah.
I have this as number 5.
I have this at number 3.
All I know is, Yang the Insane's going to be pissed at us. She hates this episode.
I'm sorry, Yang, but Jinx wins.
No, don't worry. By her logic, anything you say, she'll just get pissed at me.
Okay, but Bill, number 6. Let's talk about the This is the season premiere, by the way, and it got this high. Holy crap!
It was a good episode.
Yeah.
First of all, I was hyped when Jinx was teased because I actually started watching Arcane because it was on Netflix, and Arcane's amazing. Probably one of the best animated series I've ever watched on TV.
Yeah, I enjoyed
And-
Arcane a lot as well.
Of course, yes, I know of Harley Quinn. I watched the Batman animated series where that was her debut. She's not technically a comic book character, she's a cartoon. And on top of that, yes, the Harley Quinn TV show is hilarious. And season 3 is only better. If no one's actually watched either Arcane or the Harley Quinn TV show, you're missing out. They're fantastic shows.
I've seen clips of Harley Quinn, and yeah, from what I've seen, it looks good. And there are ones that do give me a chuckle.
You need to watch it. It is hilarious.
I don't have HBO.
You can watch it through other means. Just saying, if you have Sky or Virgin, you can just buy the set. Just saying. As for the actual, I think you can watch the first episode for free on YouTube. On their official channel. So what did I think of this episode? It was great. It was animated great. The actresses they got for these two, phenomenal. Like, it really did feel like they got the animated Harley Quinn voice actress, Tara Strong. Obviously it wasn't, but that would have been amazing if they brought her back just for Harley. But, you know, the law, they can't.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
Jinx, they clearly went the video game voice over the Arcane voice, which makes sense because Arcane, she's still young and she's not as psychotic as she is in the games.
yeah. That is Elsie Level Up, by the way. Same voice as Tracer.
Yeah, she's great. I haven't seen her upload anything on YouTube these days. I've seen her tweet a lot though, so I'm hoping
There's
she'll have
actually
a
a
new,
voice over on SMG4's channel now as well. That's probably why.
I've never actually watched that series. Good.
It's okay if you like the weird comedy stuff.
No, I am a weird person. I like comedy.
Speaking of weird and comedy,
Yes. Okay, so I liked how at first this fight started off very comedic, like fitting for the two characters. But I loved that it also started blending in the dark theme from like the Batman animated series and Arcane with like the art style at the end of the fight. Really great. The death itself was pretty good. I actually thought that was a good death, and even the fucked up bit where you see Harley's head just bouncing. Can't remember who said this on our Among Us session. I think it was Ethan. I think he said this Harley Quinn model was from Fortnite.
No.
I can't remember if it was Ethan or someone else on that chat, but they said this is a Fortnite skin, and I don't.
unless
actually...
he meant the render and the thumbnail, then no, that's just flat out wrong.
Well, that's even more wrong because the one in the thumbnail was from Multiverses.
The render he's talking about appears to be the Suicide Squad one that's in Fortnite.
Yeah. Fun
Yeah,
fact
well,
about
maybe
the
the-
model from the episode. That was built from the ground up.
There you go. Yeah, so maybe there's just some things lost in translation, or maybe they look similar. I don't know. Some good highlights though. For me, the funniest bit has to be and they Jinx puts that dynamite. She was holding them up. I love the fact she held on to that dynamite throughout the whole seconds it was going down. She could have spat that out at any point. Of course, she's insane. She wants to enjoy it.
And she also knows explosives, so she knew how long it was.
And she's also legitimately smart.
Yeah, and so when she finally gave it back to Harley Quinn, and Harley goes, "No, I'm nuts." The explosion happens, and Jinx is just surfing on her rocket and then just drops while casually laying down. Pure no shit's given attitude. I respect that. That kill. It's the fact that she's laughing while then it cuts to immediately falling while casual laying down.
Just kicking back, relaxing on a roller coaster.
That kills me every time because I wish I could cause explosions, then fly in the air and just casually lay down. That says a lot about my insanity, and I probably need a therapist.
Probably.
Anyone have Harley Quinn's number?
Do you want a talking head?
Yeah, hang on, let me try calling her. Harley? Harley, why aren't you answering? Harley?
Okay, yeah, the joke's run its course, guys. Anyway, so, fight was good, the death was pretty good as well. I definitely think, compared to most of the deaths this season, it is in my top 3 favourite deaths. And also just it ends with that pose of Jinx. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Really enjoyed it. You guys, take the show floor.
Who was next? I forgot.
That was me, because I had this at number 5.
Oh, okay.
So it was between this and Sauron versus Lich King to make it into the top 5. Because these were really well made in the 3D fight style, especially. But the thing that made me like this more than Sauron Lich King is just how entertaining the analysis was, especially for Jinx. It's just funny to learn about this girl, how she can be insane, but also get down to earth at certain points.
Sure. Never actually mentioned. The only complaint I do have about this episode is the fact they tried to keep it a surprise that Jinx and Vi were related. Which I didn't quite get that for the analysis because it's kind of a known fact, even before Arcane and stuff like that. That was revealed like very moment League of Legends first came out, so I don't really understand that.
Yeah, I think it makes up for with the fact that Ringmaster got very involved with this episode. Especially with the whole different suits he wears, as both a nod to Harley's colors and also Jinx's colors. Because I believe this episode was directed by Billy, aka Ringmaster.
Yeah, who's a big fan of League of Legends, so they just put that into Ringmaster.
Yeah, I directed Death Battle? That explains this weird check I found in my room.
You're not Ringmaster, though.
Or am I? Dun dun dun.
As. Oh, the analysis was great. Billy hit so many Easter eggs in this fight, it is insane.
Every time I hear that, I'm just like, I keep looking up thinking you're talking to me.
Do you want me to just refer to him as Ringmaster to make it easier?
No, I'm not complaining, I just find it funny. I'm like a dog where I'm just like, squirrel! Every time I hear my name, squirrel!
Oh, no, there were so many Easter eggs in this animation. Heck, if you are a champion over on the YouTube side of things, they even did a flyby of this whole environment, and it looks so good. The only reason I didn't put it that much higher was I just like the other episodes a little bit more compared to this one, and also the whole Vi Jinx sister joke. Oh, flat.
It was really daft. Like, it's not a twist. I wasn't even a big League of Legends fan, but even before Arcane, one of the most common fans I knew, those two are sisters. They regularly fight.
Also, Mad Laugh Right is one of the most underrated soundtracks this season. I still like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
It's okay. I've not listened to it frequently, but I think for the fight, it does work.
The guest vocalist, Takuchi Mana, was really amazing on this one. Especially with all the different tone shifts that this has, from circus to metal. Like, the fuck? Also, that death was really well made. But May, you had this the highest out of all of us, so I think that's the perfect way to give it to you.
Yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna get probably the biggest reason out of the way as to why this is so high. This actually gave me a new respect for Harley Quinn.
We know of your DC not hatred, but you've not really shown a lot of love for DC, so that is quite surprising.
Yeah, no, well... Yeah, and honestly, it's just like the fact that Death Battle was able to do that. So I just think that's commendable. It's just like, yeah, the amount of times I've seen Harley talked about just on the internet through one mean or another. Yeah, nothing's done it, but Death Battle was able to do it. So I give him massive kudos. Though, for the analysis, this is something I've talked to Max about. There's one aspect of it, I think it makes so much more sense if the order of them was swapped. Because it starts with Harley's analysis, Ringmaster's there like, oh, speaking of which, did you know that, this is the thing, and this? But then in Jinx's analysis, they go to the DBX Stadium, where he finds out they're doing this episode, and joins them. I know, it's just on that line, I feel like it would have worked the other way. Like, you start off with them, going to DBX, and then he's like, wait, you're talking about, League of Legends? I love that game! And then he's, like, just there for the rest of the episode.
I guess if they had the arrangements of this episode reversed, like Jinx versus Harley Quinn, I think the reason Harley Quinn's name's used first, because let's be real here, most people know more Harley Quinn than Jinx.
I mean, yeah, she's the more popular character, I get that.
Yeah, so, but at the same time, I actually kind of get what you're saying now, because, yeah, it does feel completely out of order. I actually paid that much attention to it, but now that you brought it to my attention, I can never unsee it. It's like the fires of the childhood.
Dark.
Anyway,
So, onto the fight, honestly, yeah, it's just a fun time, which, I mean, they're fighting at a carnival, and just, like, all the shenanigans these two can get up to, and, like, their arsenal. Like, that's just to be expected. And like it mentioned, oh, nuts, I just love that delivery. Also, that moment after Jinx teleports behind Harley and uses a rocket launcher, just, hey, she's right behind you. Aw, thanks, pal. And even afterwards, and Harley just goes, traitor. It actually looks sad. Oh, that's just funny.
it appears that we know more insane women in our lives than insane men. So that says a lot.
Anyway. Sorry, that was the only other thing I could think of to say. And yeah, on to like the Easter eggs. I remember finding this and thinking, oh my god, like, that is insane. After all the teleporting and the roller coaster gets sent flying, there's a can of Popeye spinach. Just flying through the air.
Well, that was perfect timing. When you said that, I had a burp come in.
Nah.
That's my body telling me I'm hungry.
And of course,
I'm
there's,
hungry.
like, the constellation in the sky. Yeah, I'm hungry as well. Of course, you know what my favorite cameo is? It's Blake and Mikasa.
Yes.
I kind of figured that's what you were leaning towards. The moment I was able to contain myself more with the Bamford joke than Mate did with Blake and versus Mikasa.
Well, let's see. To be fair to the maid, he had that for years compared to you having it for half a year.
Yeah, and also, also, Billy, I watched Death Battle Cast, and Chad was talking about how, like, yeah, there was a lot of stuff packed into it, stuff he didn't realize. And then he goes on to say, and I quote, I was watching reaction videos, and I believe it was Your Only Mate I was watching, and he points out, oh, that was a Blake vs. Mikasa set, and I'm like, oh shit, it was! So,
One day, Sean, you and I will get shout out. I guess technically we have been shouted out on the actual podcast. In Q&A's.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do you not remember? They even made fun of the fact my name was originally Bilbo in my old Twitter account.
Yeah. Now I remember.
May, go ahead, go on.
Yeah, although, just, okay, the animation, and Elsie's voice acting in particular, the Joker Venom scene. Oh my god! I just, all the arcane, like, drawings they put over everything, having Vi show up in the mirror as Jinx was just, like, losing it. Like, that whole sequence, like, fantastic. And of course, like, making the line, I don't need a second opinion sound badass, before pumping Harley full of lead. And one thing I love about the death, and it's just like the build-up to it, Harley being don't you wanna get in close and savor my emotions before you deliver the final kill? You know, calling back to Joker versus Sweet Tooth. All for Jinx to do, well, the smart thing in that situation, going, nah, bye! Boom.
Yeah. I will say, only thing I disagree, and I do agree with a lot of people when it comes to this episode, yes, Harley Quinn having the Joker Venom would have guaranteed her a win. However, I think that's just like a one... Definitely, I'll look at every scenario. Just because she has that one thing doesn't guarantee she would, like, if you would say out of 10, that's like maybe 2 out of 10 she would win. And yes, that whole, oh, well, she'll be immune to Joker Venom because she lives in a toxic environment. I'm just like, oh, wait, this nearly killed Superman, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there's also the Quicksilver Sash.
Yeah, so it's a little bit inconsistent there. Like, I don't believe that, but if they just left it out, I don't think it would be a problem for people. But I can understand why people were kind of annoyed that the Joker Venom would work on someone like Needles, but for some reason just randomly doesn't work here.
Yeah, okay, so the Zahn argument, not that great, but the Quicksilver Sash one makes sense because it's an item in-game that's specifically designed to counter poison and status effects.
Yeah.
Because there are heroes in that game that do those effects, like the Joker Venom.
I suppose that's fair enough. I do kind of agree that when it comes to like RPG type of characters, trying to decide what items to give them is a headache.
I think
this is the headache they had with Link versus Cloud for years.
I think, yeah, nowadays they just give them everything.
I think not everything, because there are some items in League of Legends that you would not think Jinx would use.
Oh yeah, no, of course I'm not going to pack every single one into the analysis and talk about it for like, I don't know, 10 minutes each or something.
I've always kind of been, when it comes to RPG characters or characters in video games that use a lot of items, definitely stick to ones that are consistent with their characters and, you know, what seems more likely they would bring into combat.
I'd say take everything into account, but not mention everything. Just mention, like, more notable ones. Like, if that makes sense.
I hear, because that's one of my fears when they bring in...
Or ones that would give you a solid edge.
Yeah, because one of my fears is when they bring in the Dragonborn, Commander Shepard, and Undead Warrior from Dark Souls, which I think they're going to do at some point. There is a lot of inconsistency when it comes to the armor and weaponry you can give them, because you could deck out Commander Shepard with like the best armor from the first game, then the second game he just doesn't have it, even though he's meant to carry over his arsenal from the previous.
But if you want to hear more thoughts about that specific, we did a podcast episode on that one. I believe it was called Not Ready for Death Battle.
Man, that episode's dated. Just saying.
Thanks, Deku.
Deku! That's the only criticism. Those are like the only major criticism I have. Well, it's not even my criticism. It's just me trying to understand why people were kind of annoyed with that whole poison immunity thing.
I mean, I just was like, I mean, Quicksilver Sash is just like an instant no.
Yeah.
You saying that's more powerful than Superman?
Analysis, reasons aside, I think it's time for people to hear what is our number one.
Oh, I mean, I'm pretty sure they know what it is, but
Yeah, if,
mate,
if you know process of elimination in every episode this season, you know what number one is already. But I think it's time we crown our number one.
Korra versus Storm.
Hey, let's talk about Korra vs. Storm!
It came back, and it came back stronger. Okay, no, go say what it is, mate.
I have the most unamused face right now. Anyway.
There went Mate's pride for that.
Anyway. So, the combined list for Let's Discuss Death Battle, number one episode of Death Battle Season 9 is... 4 versus Vegeta.
You know what's funny? After Mate, you even asked me in private chats what I thought the number one was. This was my guess.
Right then, so
There you go, you got it.
me,
Oh, I had this at number 4.
I had this at number 8.
I had this at number 2.
Yeah. Oh, this
right.
one, out of our three-way tie, was number 1. Billy, start us off.
Right then, I'm going to be brief because we're nearly gone on this for 3 hours. Good luck, mate, on editing this.
You know what, given Vegeta's wife, that's fitting.
Okay, so, Korra versus Vegeta. It's in the top 10, and I didn't hate this episode. Well, I do find it funny that on my list it's literally right next to Gogeta versus Vegito. This episode was really good. I really enjoyed it. Before the second half, this would have been at my number 3. However, over time, there are some episodes I liked more, especially on my rewatches. This episode is good. However, I won't lie, when I was rewatching it, his analysis was kind of boring. Vegeta's was good, it had some funny moments. I don't know what it was though, but Ford's analysis, I actually nearly fell asleep with. Granted, probably because when I was binging all these for this ranking, it was 2 a.m. when I was watching this episode.
That might have had a
So-
factor in it.
Yeah,
He also
maybe
likes to
I
contribute
was
to
a
the fact
little bit
that
tired.
Bill who also did not like Thor.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to really enjoy it, especially after I had to see a character I don't like a character I do like, so that didn't help either. Now, of course, I'm not going to be a butthurt, baby. Oh, my favourite got killed by my least favourite. Look, if the episode's fun, then I don't care who wins or loses. And yeah, the fight itself was good. I've already praised it enough in this countdown. Yeah, Princess of Pride is fucking awesome. Especially with the lyrics, I fight for fury, I fight for pride, honor and vengeance is my birthright. Just, blah. Whoever wrote those lyrics, you are a Chad.
I think
Wanna see
one
that-
of the
that-
few things Liam told Brandon is that he wants Viking Rock.
Yes.
And Brandon just did his thing. Like, that's all we can really say. It's like,
Yeah, Princess of Pride is a really good soundtrack.
it's so good.
It's really kick-ass, and yes, Vegeta lost. How unfortunate. But at the same time, he went out like a beast, and of course, you know, the callbacks to both their series, and for me, the highlight had to have been Thor throws his hammer, Vegeta dodges it, the hammer comes back, he just stops it with his palm, and he's all like, ha ha! Then he gets pushed against it, and you hear the, ah! Like, the yelp he did was brilliant, and the detail when he's looking all confident, and then it's like a blink and you'll miss it. When you see him get pushed, you could see like the shock in his face, like what the fuck. It was also later revealed, the thing that Mate wanted to see, there was meant to be a moment where Vegeta's struggling under the hammer, and because of budget and sprite limitations, they couldn't get around to it. But
Yeah, so I can understand that.
you know what they gave us though was still good. You know,
Exactly.
just Vegeta just yelping as the hammer pushes him down. And of course the line for, alas, you face a god, and Vegeta's just like, I've evolved beyond gods. seriously, Lenny is a beast.
Oh,
Like,
dude, like, if there's any voice actor I gotta praise, it's Lenny.
yeah, like, come on, man. And like, he made Vegeta sound comedic. He's made him sound funny. I guess that's technically his name, but he's also sounded awesome, emotional. In this case, he made him sound badass. As for the death, did good. I'll definitely say it's my second favorite death this season, but we all know what's at my number one. Right next to the thing that should have been a number one.
Hercules versus Sun Wukong? But
I sense an Infinity Gauntlet might be needed soon.
but I do want to touch
I
on the
have two
death
just
real
over
quick.
there.
Hey, I want to touch on the death real quick because this involves Zach again. On
Yeah,
his YouTube
I've said
channel.
my piece. Loved the episode. It was good, and yeah, I had it at number 8, but I don't think it was bad. It was just, I guess I'll use Mate's get out of jail free card. The other episodes were just that good.
Yeah, you just like the other episodes more. What's wrong with that?
Plus,
So,
be real here. The other list has characters I grew up with. Like, come on, how can I put this above SpongeBob? Only these guys did.
yes.
Alright, I said my piece. Sean, you go ahead.
So, I like this episode a lot. It's number 4. Haha, Thor number 4.
Yeah.
So funny. What the fuck was that voice I just did?
It sounded like you were trying to Jar Jar Binks and Stitch.
It's like you combine Gollum and Jar Jar.
So it sounded more like a Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Well, if
Such a fucking
Mahalo
nerd.
means family, it was nice to learn about Vegeta's family for a little bit. And of course, I actually like the how they hyped up the axe, and then all of a sudden you'll just see Boomstick go, "What the hell am I supposed to do with this?" Mjolnir.
I have so many questions!
Yeah. I also found it funny that Boomstick can now do Nappa breath. Makes going against him in a belching contest very scary.
Oh god. Why is that not an episode? Boomstick versus Nappa?
Because, mate. Who knows? Taka's probably busy doing VTuber stuff.
Probably.
Does he actually do VTuber stuff?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Someone needs to link me now. I wanna watch them. I do love watching some VTubers. Not the creepy ones. There's some weird ones out there.
Yeah. I feel like the biggest selling point of this is just the fight itself, how insane it is. The environment, the sprites. Although there is a couple hiccups, like for example, in one of the shots with Thor, you do see like half of a erased Mjolnir on his hip.
I tried to look for that when you said that, and I couldn't find it when I was editing that.
It's
last
right
episode.
after... It's right when Thor's saying, "What business havest thou upon Earth?"
I couldn't see it then. Maybe if I rewatch it, I'm gonna rewatch it again and try and find it.
Yeah,
And
I noticed it as well, but I was just like, dude, everything else in this episode makes me not give a shit.
when it comes to ranking, certain nitpicks definitely lower things. Also, the green hair bit, I don't get it. Why was it there?
Oh, it might be a callback to in the Super Broly movie. Before Vegeta turns Super Saiyan, his hair is green for a brief moment. Or who knows, maybe he was trying to get the legendary Super Saiyan form because he's the Prince of all Saiyans! Blah, 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 blah.
And also, just like Ichigo and Asta, you get a form of Vegeta that hasn't been animated yet in this episode, an alter ego.
Which looks fantastic.
Except for the no eyebrows. That is fucking weird.
I mean, it's just how it is. And same with Super
Still
Saiyan
weird.
3.
It's still weird though.
Yeah, it's still
Like,
weird, but it's just like... Okay.
I will say, one of the funniest comments I saw under this episode, one was the whiny bitches. Two, someone said the most unrealistic part of this fight, what the fuck is the Earth still around? It's like, you know what, that's a
Kind
good
of.
point.
You could say that about like every Dragon Ball Z fight. Let's be real.
I know, but the fact I just love that. No, I really thought that was going to be like some butthurt fan, but the moment he said the Earth stood still, I was like, you know what? That's a good point given these two.
What else is there I can say about this one before May takes over? Because this was one he wanted back when we talked season 1 comebacks.
Yeah, no, Death Battle Lad's Curse.
I love the final sequence, especially with the music. The final flash, it's in transmission away from a God Blast, and you just see it outside of the Earth how it looks with like the God Key.
And Hakai, because it's all purple.
And then, of course, the death, which Mate loves a lot. Because he quotes Thanos, you see Mjolnir rise up, and then Thor just goes straight downwards. Now, it's hard to see this with the environment, but I saw this in Zack's footage. If you look closely, you can actually see Vegeta's corpse falling as Thor raises his hammer in victory.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. The amount of times I've rewatched that episode when it came out.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely more to be said, but I think I can let Mate handle it. So, go ahead for it, Mate. You are worthy to talk about this because this was your fucking pick.
Okay.
And he can actually lift the hammer.
I mean, I have it just over there.
Quote Richard, having a toy doesn't count.
I can say that about a lot of his shit.
It's true.
So, like you guys have already mentioned the thing in Thor's analysis with Boomstick being worthy of Mjolnir somehow. One thing I really love is just like when they start talking about the Warrior's Madness, the way that music like kicks in, and it starts like building that up, and just the wrap of his analysis of just like, when you look to the thundering sky, you'll no longer fear the god's wrath, because you'll know it's just Thor, the god of thunder, kicking ass and saving the day. Like, the music going with that, I just love it. And, just going into Ultra Ego was great in Vegeta's analysis. It was also just nice to have Vegeta finally back. And just, like, give him an updated analysis. As for the fight...
To be real, out of all the Dragon Ball characters, he's definitely needed one.
Yeah. Now, as for the fight, I love that they actually have Thor do the comic speak, which I actually didn't know that was a thing, I'll be honest. So I thought, hey, you know what? That's a good detail. So, kudos for that. It would be so weird to hear Chris Hemsworth talk like that, though, I'm not gonna lie. And, like, there was some jank at the beginning with just, like, one of their first sequences and when Thor's holding the axe, but I can easily look past that, especially because it doesn't last very long. And just everything that happens afterwards, oh god, and just, like, dude, Lanny is Vegeta. Like, how? Like, no, if you're gonna have Vegeta in a death battle, he has to be voiced by Lanny. That is just law now. Like,
I just wanted to make this joke. Like, similar when I brought up the person that worked really hard on that cake in the Sonic 2 movie and got destroyed. Imagine being that sprite animator who put all that effort into making that act for Thor, and it barely lasts 5 seconds. Just like, I missed my sister's wedding for this, you know?
Also, shout out to all the people that thought that was Stormbreaker.
I mean, in the MCU, you see an axe, people think Stormbreaker. It's like,
I
you are
get
aware
it.
he's had... It's kind of funny, because people obviously not reading the comic books. Yeah, a lot of these characters have a bigger arsenal than their movie counterparts. Like, do you know how many tridents Aquaman has?
Also, design-wise, just like, yeah, no, that ain't Stormbreaker.
I don't see Groot holding on to it.
could you be funny just like before Vegeta goes to erase it, just a Groot head pops out. I am Groot.
Oh no! I don't want
Oh god, get this thing away from me!
No, and Vegeta's just like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, I don't want to have to sit through another Groot death. I've already had to sit through 2.
And yeah, the whole like, I have evolved beyond gods, and just like, the moment Vegeta goes Ultra Ego, takes those blasts from Mjolnir, and it's just all, tell me, does a god such as yourself feel fear? It's like, busting out the classics, I love it. And, of course, like, that last, like, clash, and just Lanny's final! And just, like, how he's delivering that, and the way they edit the sprite, and just how crazy the eyes look. And just the flash! Just the... I hope his throat was okay after that. Jesus Christ.
Oof.
People thought his final flash in the abridged episode was throat killing.
Yeah. And of course, like, you know, that shot when Thor grabs him by the face and you just see him breathing just after taking that final flash to the face. It's just like, you know, it's just like, oh shit, he's pissed. And, okay, going back to the death, I love deaths that are a mix of creative and brutal. This was so goddamn brutal, just the fact you see his eye just, like, bulge out as his head is being squashed, like, oh god. Literally. But also, it's just like, yeah, that's also a reference to Thor Ragnarok when he threatened that he was going to do that to Loki to get him to, you know, stop pretending to be Odin. It's just like, that's a clever callback. And also, yeah, just a clever way of, like, getting in the always aim for the head joke. And, like, that shot when Thor raises the hammer and just, like, does a victory cry is just like, there's thunder and rain. It's like, that is a badass shot. I love so much about this episode. And this would have been #1 if not for Trunks v Silver. Well, I mean, at least #1 on my personal list, I mean. Like, honestly, if there was going to be an episode that was going to take #1 on just any list, I'm happy it was this one.
I think this was like the most hyped, like, until the other episodes got revealed. When they did just tease Vegeta, yeah, we were kind of hoping and hyping that it would be this one.
Oh, definitely.
Even though I'm not a Thor fan, I was like, yeah, this is Vegeta's next perfect one. I've seen some say maybe even Wonder Woman vs Vegeta, but it's like, Wonder Woman's not really a character obsessed with pride. She's more heroic. Thor, of course, has pride. That's kind of his thing. At least the comic book version. The movie one, he's just dumb.
I don't think the dialogue for them would have bounced off each other that nice.
Yeah, I definitely prefer Thor vs Vegeta over Wonder Woman vs Vegeta. Heck, I even prefer it over Shadow vs Vegeta.
Also, like, that really just comes down to, is she faster? Yes, she wins.
Yeah. Plus, she literally has a sword that would just cut through any...
Yeah, exactly.
Structure.
Like, that's just any debate with Wonder Woman. Is she faster? Yes, she wins.
Oh god, that would have been a fun lads debate to do. Vegeta versus Wonder Woman. Well,
I mean, what's the debate?
Is Wonder Woman faster? Yes, she wins.
Does she have a sword that can just cut him from a molecular level? Yes. This episode, I think, was perfect.
No.
She has more than drip. She has got a outfit. I could say more, but I'm worried that I'll look bad on this episode. I'll just say she has some great personality in her outfit. That's all I'm saying. Me smiling innocently. So she's got a nice rack.
There it is.
The third gift that Sean put earlier.
Yeah. So that is our list.
This might have been longer than our last one, I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like it goes to show this season definitely had more episodes we were invested in, because it featured more characters, especially for, I'm speaking for myself in this case, I guess. It features more characters I've grown up with and know a lot more, so I really enjoyed this season. And probably controversial, I think this is the best season for me in the entire show.
I think there's also a lot to do with like just how different some of our spots are when it comes to this list.
Oh yeah, people are gonna freak out because if you're wondering what was the episode I saw on a lot of low lists, it was Harley Quinn versus Jinx.
I don't understand that.
That was the episode I saw either mid-tier or below.
I've seen a lot of takes on the internet I don't understand.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm still surprised. I think I will make this clear, people. These guys are going to get flack for Sauron versus Lich King, Omni-Man versus Homelander, because that was on a lot of people's high lists. So, I'm safe. I won't get cancelled.
I don't think I'll get cancelled. Number 8's a nice spot for it.
I'm just going to ignore that comment just to save our friendship. Yeah, overall, I had fun doing this again, and I'm looking forward to this year's. The next year.
Season 10.
And the next year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else is going to be, but just based off hype alone, I know what I would put as like the big matchup I'm invested in already.
The only episode that's been revealed for me are the two that are revealed at the end, and I'm only hyped for one character.
There was another episode that got confirmed. We're not going to say it here.
Right. And also, Bill does not want us to talk about it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, please don't. I want to go in spoiler free.
Yeah. Plus, I'm betting like when Death Battle Cast like starts announcing, it's just like, yeah, this is when Death Battle comes back. They're gonna tease more combatants, like probably.
Oh, I don't mind when they do like the teaser for the next season. Then they show a few characters. I'm fine with that. I just don't want to be known of the next fight. The Purple Demon had to suffer the fate of when he spoiled one episode for me.
Anyway,
yeah, that was our ranking. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I'll just say, if any of you are angry about placements on this list and takes, well, stay tuned for another ranking. I'm just gonna say that.
God damn it, Maid. Why do you gotta be so controversial?
Listen, if it involves Max and Maid, then there's going to be some controversy. You know, in saying that, Max actually probably thinks I am an absolute nutter, given my opinion on Queendom.
He thinks that I'm weird for having the opinion of All Might versus Might Guy being better than Virgil versus Sephiroth.
Let's be real here. Everyone's a weirdo. Except Billy. Billy's completely normal.
Oh, you're not.
The cabbage in my room says I am.
I said that because you're Billy.
Yeah, I had fun with this ranking. I'm looking forward to this year's and have no witty one-liner to go out on.
Yeah, this was fun, and of course, thanks to May for letting us put this on his channel, of course. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the ranking, and let us know what your number one this season is. I have a feeling I know a certain commenter's number one already. Looking at you, Fireball RKO. Looking at you, buddy.
Should we do our outros?
Yeah, I was waiting for one of you to start.
I mean, it's your channel.
Well, then shouldn't I go last?
No, I meant that you were meant to say, hey, let's wrap up.
I mean, yeah, probably, but...
This
Okay,
is
well,
why...
I guess we'll wrap up now.
Alright. Bill, do you want to go in alphabetical order, so we'll start with you?
As well. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more content your only mate has made, links to his videos probably in the description. And if you want to see some of my content, also link in the description. And with that, thank you very much for watching. And hey, stick around. We'll have more content for you in the future. Farewell, everybody.
Thank you folks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this ranking video. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments, because I love reading your comments. Stay tuned for all the fun stuff we got planned. That being said, thank you folks for watching. I will see you all later.
Alright, well, hope you enjoyed this ranking, despite some of the takes that were in it. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe. If you did not enjoy, be sure to like and subscribe. Click any links, check out Sean and Billy's stuff. And we will see you next time. I'm gonna sit back and watch these two guys murder each other.
Wait a minute, I gotta
Man
start with
versus
you.
Homelander got cucked.
You can say that about Tandra and Jonathan, thanks to Mate.
Hashtag cancel mate.